Beautiful tribe. It is Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, and it is time to vibe with your tribe as the month of October slowly comes to a close in the next few days. We have Halloween approaching, the Day of the Dead approaching, the U.S. elections that are approaching, and indeed, likely some spooky times that are ahead. With the U.S. elections approaching just a week from today, we're already witnessing so many interesting things and so many interesting times that we're in right now. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that one. Trump goes on Rogan. That goes viral while chaos erupts at a Harris rally. Appears that there's a lot of angry people out there, friends. I hope you're not one of them. I hope I'm able to put a smile on that face and turn that frown upside down. Because there's, again, a lot of angry people out there. How is this anger going to play out on the U.S. election day next week? Will it play out? And what about Newsom's very extremely shady new law around voter ID? It seems quite obvious that someone's trying to cheat the system with this new law. How could they even put such a law into place? Perhaps this is why maybe the United States military just conducted drills over Washington, D.C., friends. Yes. Things that make you go, Why are they doing these drills in Washington, D.C. with helicopters and military? They say it's a common thing that they do, but we don't have any footage of them doing it in the past. Things that make you go, friends. So why is that going on? Does it have something to do with all the angry people? And what about all that burning that's happening of the ballot boxes in the state of Oregon? What's going on with our friends in Oregon? Burning ballot boxes? How does that even make any sense, setting them ablaze? Like, one side seems to be getting very worried and is already planning maybe, steal the White House. Things that make you go, friends. Things that make you go, So is Bill Gates actually finally being indicted? At least allegedly in the Netherlands. Or is this actually fake news that's been going around? You know, he gave $50 million to the Harris campaign, which that is real news, by the way, confirmed. Is that his get out of jail free card, friends? Is that what that's all about? Perhaps a future get out of jail free card? And what about other indictments? What other indictments could we see in the near future, especially as we flow into 2025? Not just for Gates, but what about the rest of the corrupt and dark overlords that need to be taken down? We're going to address that today. And do you think that we're ever going to see the true Epstein list? Well, I'm going to ask the spirits about that today and see what they have to say. You know, the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch also has been indicted and arrested. So lots more, Spirit says, is coming in the near future with cases like that. It's going to get really real, friends. And it's about time, really. It's about time. There was just another discovery, a major discovery, friends, of lithium. The biggest discovery of its time, they're saying, right here in the United States of America. A massive amount right here in the United States, and I'm going to tell you where that is together so that we can keep a very close eye on these areas. I'm going to show you the map and everything because it's areas that, really we should be concerned about. And not only that, I had my friend had this dream, and he texted me in the middle of writing notes about this lithium mine that was discovered. Not a mine, lithium deposit that was discovered. I don't believe in coincidences, especially when he texts me about a dream mentioning one of the states that this lithium mine runs into. Is there a potential land grab in the near future? I'm going to tell you where and where to keep our eyes peeled in the near future. Big time. So there was also, we're going to talk about today, the quite creepy thing that occurred in the world that people weren't paying attention to, because the world was too consumed with the whole P. Diddy thing a couple weeks ago or earlier in the month or whenever that was, last month. But people were missing what was actually happening behind the scenes. Something that also actually aligns with some of my past predictions as far as resignations and step downs are concerned. Not only that, what I believe this means when it comes to the future of health and the medical community, and how it's all connected and weaved into that web of darkness. You're going to want to hear about this one today, friends. You're certainly going to want to hear about that. And with Halloween and the Day of the Dead approaching in just a few days, I'm going to share some of the magic of this celebration with you. My favorite time of the year, my favorite holiday to honor my ancestors and loved ones in spirit. And this window of time is going to allow us all a very deeper connection with our ancestors and our loved ones in spirit. And I'm going to share all that with you today. Lots to discuss on this episode number 140 of Tuesday's Prediction Update. So let's get this show started and let's feed that prediction addiction because
it's Tittle Tea time, baby.
Beautiful souls, beautiful tribe. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Tittle Tuesday's Teatime Predictions Update. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name's Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT. I welcome you with open arms and big old air hugs. And if you're new here, every Tuesday, we talk about world events and how they may or may not relate to predictions and prophecies, along with new predictions or adding to old predictions that are heading our way in the near future. And we do this each and every week. Tuesdays, relatively, unless there's a bump in the curb and we get set behind, which, knock on wood, hasn't happened in quite some time. And then, depending on where in the world you are, you might be seeing this on Wednesdays anyway. But regardless, we do this every week. So make sure if you want to vibe with this tribe, you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, smash that there subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. Also, down below in the description, you'll find all the links to my social media, including the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community of supporters who help make this free content possible for everybody else, including the supporters of this platform, whether it's the YT platform or supporters that come in and support this channel in other ways. I couldn't do it without you, friends. And I appreciate you with infinite love and gratitude. Yes, yes, indeed. And be sure to sign up for that newsletter down below because it's free. And sign up by opening up that newsletter. And at the top, you'll see how you can sign up to it. That is the best way to sign up for the newsletter, to access it from the old newsletter. And on the first of the month, I put out all the astrology, numerology, and all the past content so you don't miss content. With holidays approaching, there may even be some special coupon deals tucked away in those newsletters. And you can also find me at spiritmanjt.com or josephtittel.com. But Spiritman JT is a little bit easier. I'm trying to make it easy for you all. And thank you for showing your love by giving a thumbs up so we could show these algorithms that we want this tribe to grow. So let us move on to episode number 140 of
Tea time, baby.
Can you believe the month of October is already about to come to a close in just a few more days? But not until spooky season kicks in, baby. And I love me some spooky season, especially on All Hallows Eve. This is a very powerful time, friends. Very powerful time celebrated by our ancestors for thousands and thousands of years. Still celebrated in many cultures today, as this day is also known as the Day of the Dead, November 2nd. We have that whole 3-day celebration going on. It was that window of time, October 31st through November 2nd, when the veil between our world and the spirit worlds and the spirit dimensions become very, very thin. And of course, in turn, spooks and ghouls roam the streets and towns of this world on Halloween night. Woo! But I love Halloween. I don't know about you, but I just love this time of year because it's a time of year where, well, it used to be when children and their families would carve out pumpkins and go trick-or-treating and keep away the dark entities on Halloween night. That's what the whole jack-o'-lantern thing comes from, actually. Do you know the story about it? It's quite interesting. This originally comes from an Irish myth about Stingy Jack, who tricked the devil for his own monetary gain. And when Jack died, God didn't allow him in heaven and the devil didn't allow him into hell. So Jack was sentenced to roam the earth for eternity. So in Ireland, people started carving out little demonic faces on turnips. That's where it all began, on turnips, friends. And you can get some pretty darn big turnips. And I bet you get some big ones over there in Ireland. They would carve out faces and like devilish, scary faces in turnips, basically to scare away Jack, Irish Jack, or Stingy Jack, excuse me. And that's how, when the Irish migrated to America, they started using pumpkins and using them as jack-o'-lanterns. And that's where the pumpkin thing comes in. Because pumpkins, of course, are native to North America. They didn't have them over there in Europe or in Ireland. So how did jack-o'-lanterns become associated with Halloween? So Halloween is based on the Celtic festival of Samhain, often pronounced as Samhain, like sewing a needle. Not Samhain as it's spelled out. It's spelled Samhain. Samhain is what people think. There's actually a rock group that calls themselves Samhain. But the proper Celtic pronunciation is Samhain or Samhain. The Celtic festival of Samhain. It was a celebration in ancient Britain and in Ireland that marked off the end of summer and the beginning of the new year on November 1st. It was also referred to as the pagan New Year, where they believed New Year's and did celebrations and planted their intentions like you would on a new moon on Halloween night. And it was also believed that during Samhain, the souls of those who had died that entire year since last Halloween traveled to the other worlds and the dimensions on Halloween night. And they believed that the souls would return and visit their homes. So in turn, they would light bonfires, they would dance around, and they would put on costumes to trick the dark spirits who roamed around on All Hallows Eve. Folks would like to celebrate also with this huge feast, something I do on Halloween. A big old feast. It's all about feasting, eating, and celebrating. But they would also make placements at the table for their deceased loved ones. Even better, they would put plates of food, and we do this in ceremony. I do this in ceremony. It's an offering, and we put an offering of food outside. Not just on Halloween, but I do it on other ceremonies too. The equinoxes, the solstices, and a couple other ones like Samhain or Samhain or All Hallows Eve. And that's where it all comes from, putting plates of food out in order to appease the spirits that were wandering the earth on Halloween night. Quite interesting. Now, November 2nd, it gets even more interesting and also a very exciting day, in my opinion, for it's another ancient tradition meant to honor and celebrate our deceased loved ones and our ancestors, and even our deceased pets as well. This tradition, stemming mostly from Mexico, but honored very much in Latin American cultures and even in parts of the United States. It's a big thing here in Sedona. Now, my neighbor told me they had it this weekend, but I don't think it's this weekend, the celebration. It wouldn't make sense. Next weekend is November 2nd. It would make sense that you would do it on November 2nd. But they would do this, and they would make it a time to make peace with death. They made death look more celebratory instead of so dreadful. And they would treat it with familiarity instead of dread and fear. That's why they would take things like the skulls here and make them into what they call candied skulls. This is one I found at a thrift shop. I have a collection up there in my kitchen. A couple glasses with the candied skulls on them. So this holiday was derived from ancient rituals that actually worshiped the goddess, and I can't pronounce her name, so forget that. But she's also more easily known as the Lady of the Dead. And she was, it was actually a whole month celebration. It wasn't just one day, November 2nd. Leave it to the Roman Catholic Church, of course, who converted the native people into Roman Catholicism. In turn, they made the holiday a one-day celebration on November 2nd in order to coincide, of course, with All Saints' Day on November 1st. Quite interesting how the history goes. Not a lot of people know about the histories. You know where they got witches flying on brooms? It's a funny one, too. It actually comes from an ancient ceremony. And they would use ointments, of course, in their ceremonies. I forget what they call it. There's a name for it. But basically, these ointments were hallucinatory, and they would start to hallucinate. But they would do ceremonies in the middle of their farm fields. The pagan people, the people of the earth, and the word pagan means people of the earth, people who live off the earth. So all of our ancestors were pagan at some point in time. So they would gather in the field and they would clear out a big ritual spot in the middle of, say, their cornfield or their vegetable fields. They would create a big bonfire. They would get rakes and forks and things that they use, pitchforks and whatever they use for gardening. Not brooms, actually. It was actually shovels, pitchforks, and things like that. And they would dance around the fire and they would put the shovels in between their legs and jump real high in the air, showing the vegetables to grow high up like the fire. And that's where it all came from. And obviously, somebody hallucinating decided and started seeing them actually flying around the fire. Literally, but not really. And that's where you get witches flying on brooms. All derives from a pagan ceremony that was twisted and turned, likely by Christianity in some form or another, to make people, the pagan people who live off the land, look evil and look dark. Interesting how they twist things in our lives and in our history. So bad, friends, so bad. Anyway, moving right along. For you, they celebrate the dead again by making the dead beautiful for all of us. But for the Day of the Dead and in the Latin communities, they would, again, do the candy skulls to make skulls and death look pretty, to make it look beautiful, because death is beautiful. It's the end. It's a graduation from this life into the afterlife. They decorate candy skulls. They would also go to the grave sites, of course, and they would decorate and plant flowers, marigolds in some traditions, at the graves of their loved ones, accompanied by a whole bunch of song, a whole bunch of dance, and a whole bunch of festivities. And they know how to celebrate in that Latin community, baby. I would love to go to Mexico, actually, sometime. Or anywhere that they do a big celebration with the true Latin people who do these celebrations. I want to do that. Maybe I'm going to make that a plan next year. Yeah, I'm going to make that plan. Put that out in the universe. Send me to the best place to celebrate the Day of the Dead. Sounds like a fabulous celebration to go to somewhere else besides here in Sedona. They do it here, but try and get through traffic to get there. That's a whole nother story. So that's what they would do. They would sing, dance, have feasts. And it's a time when our loved ones and our ancestors are very, very strongly around us. They always are, but this time it's even stronger. They're much stronger on this earth plane. So the veil, being it's at its thinnest point during this 3-day period in celebration beginning on All Hallows Eve, this is the perfect time, friends, for all of us to do what our ancestors did. Create a little magical space in your home. Carve out some pumpkins with the kids. I have pumpkins out front, but I want to get another one to carve out. I got to run and do that tomorrow. Got to remember to do that. Got to carve out my pumpkin every year. It's a tradition. You should have that tradition. Traditions are a lovely thing. Not only that, here's the tradition that you really should reflect on. And that is the tradition of reflecting on your loved ones in that whole 3-day cycle, starting on the 31st of October, all the way moving into November 2nd. Create a little space, put some candles there, pictures to honor your loved ones and your pets in the spirit world. Create something magical and special. And then sit there and meditate, because those that are no longer with us, it's much more easier to communicate with them in this window of time. And it's the whole month of October and November, really. But the thinnest point comes on that 3-day period. And then it slowly restores itself until the winter solstice. It begins thinning out on the equinox, which was September 22nd, getting to the thinnest point. So it's been thin. So you may have been experiencing a lot of paranormal activity, maybe connections with your deceased loved ones. I told you the story a couple weeks ago when I was feeding my friend's cat and was talking to my friend Susie and knew she was there and asked her for a sign. And the song I used to sing to her came on the radio 30 seconds later. It was amazing. And I knew she was there. And of course I'm a medium and I've been doing this for decades and communicated with God only knows how many spirits in the spirit worlds. But you can do it too. When your deceased loved ones pop up in your mind out of the blue and you're not even thinking remotely anything about them and you get the little goosey bumps and the hair stands up on your neck, that's because they're right there at your side at that moment in time. Talk to them. Be like, I know you're here. Show me a sign, and don't look so hard for the signs, because the first most powerful sign is when they randomly pop up in your mind. The thought of your loved ones is the most powerful sign of all, when they randomly pop in your mind. You'll find it often happens in the car driving. I don't know why, but they love to drive in the cars with us. And I don't know why, but it's always the back seat. Always. And I discovered this when I was driving in New Jersey to someone's house, and I just was looking over, always gazing. And I saw people in the back seat of the car, just older people, and I was paying attention. And I looked back over, and the people weren't in the car anymore. It's like, oh, crap, where'd the people go? Then I realized, oh, wait. And then I'd see them in the back seat of my car going to people's houses. I'd have conversations with them before I got to the people's house. I'd be like, I was with your dad. He was driving with me, driving me crazy. Backseat drivers. But true story. So take this time, friends. Take this time over the next few days to ground your energy, honor your loved ones, pull out their pictures, create, again, that little magical space. Do what feels right to you. Sit down and meditate with no expectations. Don't expect to connect with a specific person because some people in spirit are better at communication than others. I know that. I tell clients that all the time. If you focus on one person, you're going to take everything I say and try to apply it to that person, and it don't work that way. It's the strongest person that comes through to me when I'm with a group of people. I like to call them the loudmouths in spirit because, there's some of them are loudmouths. They might not have been a loudmouth here, but some of them are in the spirit world. So take this amazing time, friends, to celebrate your loved ones as we move in to spooky season. Tribulation seems to be a topic that we discussed a whole lot of over the past month, with the belief from that one group of Christians that tribulation began also due to the astrological alignments, including what they claim to be the 4 horsemen in our skies on October 9th. I pointed to that website and that video to you many times. Back in 2017, 2018, I put a video out on Tribulation 2025 to 2032. And again, I put that out. I can't remember, 2017, 2018. It might have been 2018, actually. You can look back and find that video. After information I received from Spirit, of course. Well, check this out, friends, because this is where it gets pretty wild. Check this out, because this is after the horrific disaster created by Hurricane Helene. A couple of crew workers were out during the disaster relief, and they discovered, this is wild, friends, a Bible. Not only did they just discover a Bible, the Bible was stuck to a pole. And what happened next is just literally going to blow your mind. Check this out.
So this Bible was found after the flood from Hurricane Helene.
On this fence post.
And it is on Revelation 14 and 15.
All the things destroyed, that was left open. And it's sitting there, and we're not touching it, so.
This house was buried and flooded all the way to the roof originally. The man that lived here had to be rescued off of the roof by a raft. And they were just emptying it, just demoing the entire house. And this Bible was found on a pole, open to Revelation.
Wowzer, I don't believe in coincidences. There's absolutely never any coincidences, friends. And you can clearly see that was stuck there from a storm. That it wasn't manipulated or done in any way. You can see how it was wrapped from the water, forming perfectly onto those pages. Revelation 14, Revelation 15. So what does Revelation 14 and 15 say? Because, we have to look it up, it's just one of those things you just got to do. The Lamb. So this is actually from Revelation 14, the Lamb and the 144,000. I'm not going to read it all to you because it's it's a lot. But I'm going to pull out this first part, which I thought, again, no coincidences. Then I looked and saw the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a sound from heaven like a roar of many waters and a loud rumbling of thunder. And the sound I heard was like harpists strumming their harps. So that's just that one line, friends. Like a roar of many waters and a loud rumbling of thunder. I'm sure they heard those loud rumblings in North Carolina when all that was hitting. A couple other parts, because it goes down to talk about the 3 angels and the fall of Babylon. Even more interesting, right? So then I saw the angels flying overhead with the eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation and tribe and tongue of the people. And he said in a loud voice, fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship the one who made the heavens and the earth and the sea and the springs of waters. So really interesting. There was another one I wanted to say. So the second angel followed, saying, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. Goes on. And here's the part that I could really align to a recent prediction where I said a massive volcanic eruption. One of them being right here in the United States of America. And this again is Revelation 14. And the third angel followed him, calling out in a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and the image and receives its mark on its forehead or on his hand, he too will drink the wine of God's anger, poured undiluted into the cup of his wrath. And he will be tormented in fire and sulfur. Fire and sulfur comes from volcanoes, friends. He will be tormented in fire and sulfur in the presence of God's holy angels and the Lamb. And the smoke of the torment rises forever and ever, day and night. There is no rest for those who worship the beast in his image, for anyone who receives the mark of its name. Hallelujah, amen. Interesting, right? There's also the harvest of earth. Again, it's long. Look up Revelation 14 on your own and read it all. They were a couple points that really popped out in my mind. They popped out, not in my mind, but popped out at me. And then we move on to Revelation 15, which is the song of Moses and the Lamb. Then I saw another great and marvelous sign in heaven, 7 angels and 7 final plagues, with which the wrath of God is completed. It goes on to the song, but it also talks about preparation for judgment in Revelation 15, chapter 5, paragraph 5, after I looked in the temple, the tabernacle of the testimony was opened in heaven, and out of the temple came 7 angels with 7 plagues, dressed in clean and bright linen and girded with golden sashes around their chests. Wow. Oh, wait. And this is the last part. Might as well read 15:7. The one of the 4 living creatures gave the 7 angels 7 golden bowls full of wrath of God, who lives forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and his power, and no one could enter the temple until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed. Interesting, right? To say the least. Again, I don't believe in coincidences. You know, we have the website putting out all the information about Tribulation October 9th. We go back to my video from 2018 about 2025 to 2032, that 7-year period of time. But I also told you, maybe tribulation may not be now. Another time to look at would be 2029. Because on Friday, April 13th, 2029, the Comet Apophis will come very close to the earth, and we're all going to be out there, and we will all see it very close. That goes around the sun and comes back around 7 years later in 2036. Could that be tribulation? Signs from the stars, according to Jesus. The signs will appear in the heavens. Again, no coincidences. We're definitely in times. I don't know what kind of times we're in, but there's some pretty wild times. That's for sure. And like I said, friends, get ready. Because the next roller coaster ride is about to take off in November. So hold on tight, and I hope you like a good roller coaster ride. Make sure you don't eat before you get on the roller coaster. You might get dizzy, and you might not make it through. Let us move on to our next topic, actually. And actually, no, let's not. Because I have no doubt that the world, especially the Middle East and Europe, is definitely heading into something. Perhaps, again, already the prophesied time of tribulation. But together, here's what we really should do. We all need to just focus on prayer, meditation, ceremony, and holding good things in the light for yourself and then for the entire planet. The best thing that we can all do is to do that. That's the best way to help this planet and help people to ascend, to people to awaken, is just hold in the light that's already happening. It's the key to manifesting things in the future. To live it as if it's already there. To celebrate it as if you're already there. and to feel the emotions of it. So get excited because the new earth is right around the corner. So speaking of revelation, the U.S. election is approaching just a week away from today, and we're already witnessing wild times for sure, and some shady stuff as well. No surprise there. You know, Trump was on Rogan, I'm sure you know, because it went viral with more than 28 million views in just 2 days. And that's just on one platform. I think that's just on YouTube. He's on other platforms. Spotify is his number one platform. And Rogan, in the past, if you remember, he swore he would never, ever have Trump on his show. He was completely against Trump, according to the interview. And his views have certainly shifted also according to the interview. Without a doubt, that interview boosted DT's ratings big time. Unless Rogan can get Harris on his show, that could change things. That could be a game changer. But that's extremely doubtful, especially between now and the election. Maybe afterwards, but not before. I'd be shocked if she said yes. And if she did, she'd probably have an earpiece in. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't see that happening. At the same time, Rogan DT interview chaos erupted. Actually, a big chaos erupted, and I should have found the clip. I didn't find the clip. At a Harris rally. Why? Because she keeps promising Beyonce, and Beyonce keeps not showing up. What's up with that? Broken promises. Before the election even happens, there's broken promises. Kind of interesting. But people were mad. They were shouting. They were mad. As they very well should be. If you're promoting an event that someone's supposed to be at, especially someone with those big names to draw people to your event, and them not showing up for the second or third time, that's not cool. That's definitely not cool. And it appears that people really are coming out for Queen Bee and not for Queen Harris. It's kind of interesting. It also appears that there's already an awful lot of angry people out there because their anger is going to play out. How is it going to play out when it comes to Election Day? Well, as I predicted in the past, there's going to be issues, of course. I mean, you don't even, at this point, need to be psychic when it comes to issues at polling stations. Angry people. Likely many fights, perhaps even a pow-pow that I saw in one polling station vision, someone being angry. And most vulnerable, of course, is going to be the swing states. But it also really doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter who you like. It just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's all pre-programmed in this matrix that we live in. Last week, I had a vision, if you recall, I'll put this back out there, of an angry person using a vehicle to plow into the polling building or station. So Spirit says when you're out and about voting, especially, and no matter what, whether you're in America or another country, always when you're out and about, be mindful of your surroundings. Be mindful of anything that feels shady without going out with fear, but just being mindful and open intuitively. And if you feel there's a threat, then always go with your first instinct and your intuition. Always. But Spirit says to be mindful out there because there are dark forces at work here. Very dark forces working very hard to get the results the dark overlords want. And by now, you should already be pretty aware and awakened to what the dark overlord's agenda is. Also, get out and vote. And when you do, if possible, take a picture of your ballot. Take a picture of you voting. I say this only due to this concerning text message I got. Did I save it? If I saved it, I'll pop it up on the screen. I don't know if I think I took a screenshot of it. If I did, again, I'll pop it up on the screen. But I got this text message claiming, you did not vote in the last election, but you voted in the previous election before that, so you need to vote in this election. Friends, I voted in the last election. According to this, it says, and according to the internet, you did not vote. You need to get out and vote. But I voted. Right down there in Sedona, Arizona at the church. Like exactly where I'm going to be going to vote again this year. Weird. Speaking of which, Bean's elections next week. I don't know if I might be a day late with the show. If I can't get it done early, like I hope, try, I got to get out the vote, friends. And there might be a delay in the show next week, so be aware. Don't be sending me emails. Where are you? Please don't send me emails. If you got any comments, links, or anything you want to share, always leave them down below in the comments on whatever platform you're watching this on. I'm already so behind in emails. It's unbelievable. I need my assistant back. She's all the way across country, though. So no matter what, again, remember those visions. Be mindful when you're out and about, no matter what, whether it's for the elections, and know that there is some type of dark agenda here. And not only that, again, take pictures. Because remember, Spirit told us and showed us earlier this year that there were methods that were going to be initiated to cheat the system. No doubt. And that was, the beginning of the year and my world predictions for the year. So they're going to probably try calling it Russian collusion again. Wouldn't surprise me to hear that one again. But what about Newsom's all of a sudden very extremely shady new voter ID law? Making it illegal for them to ask for ID, to unmask. Really, seriously, think about this, friends. Newsom has made it illegal, 100% illegal, to ask for ID, ask Americans or even non-Americans for their ID when they're voting at the California polls. Why would you pass such a law? That law doesn't even make sense. It should be the opposite, shouldn't it? Shouldn't you be asking and requiring by law that people show their ID when they're voting? Especially if they're a non-American? That to me, 100%, I don't know, it doesn't get any more clearer than that. That is somebody simply trying to do the opposite and trying to cheat the system. It's obvious. I mean, I don't know how anybody would not think that. It just blows my mind, actually. What else blows my mind to make matters even worse here, or at least on the West Coast of the United States? We have some less than smart person who thinks that they're in control when they're out of control, lighting and igniting ballot boxes on fire. In the state of Oregon. Yep. Play us the Oregon. But what's up with you people in Oregon? I know you smoke a lot of weed in Portland, but I think this dude's smoking something else. Maybe some crack or something. Because they can walk around setting ablaze ballot boxes. Wouldn't there be multiple? And I don't know, I could be wrong, but wouldn't they all be different votes in those boxes? And you don't know who's in what box. I mean, I don't know. You can perhaps educate me on this. Wouldn't it be different votes in those boxes, or were these boxes in an area where we know what all the votes are? I don't know. I'm asking. I would think that maybe, they're all votes for one particular person and burn them. Kind of wild, huh? So is this another way of planning a White House steal? It gets even crazier, friends. Perhaps this might be why the United States military just conducted drills over Washington, D.C. Things that make you go, I tried to look for footage and I couldn't find any. And how I learned about it was actually from Canadian Prepper. And I could have went and snapped some footage off of Canadian Prepper's video, but just you get the point. If you want to go watch Canadian Prepper's video, he put out yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, because I didn't watch anything today, so it had to be yesterday. But he showed the footage with the helicopters. So what's that all about, friends? Are they expecting chaos in Washington, D.C.? When more Americans awaken after these elections to the corruption, lying, and stealing agendas and the White House takeovers? This is very concerning, friends. Very concerning, and it gives me really bad feeling. A bad feeling of unfairness, more corruption, lies, cheats, and steals. Because, it's not a normal. Oh, they said this is normal. We do that. No, you do not. That is not normal. Not at all. It's a little city, too. Why would you need all those helicopters and aeroplanes flying around? Yeah, all right. And it makes me think of past predictions where I said there'd be fear attacks that happened in Washington, D.C. And potential, I said years ago, I saw a big explosion happening at the Capitol, which didn't happen. And that was about a couple of years ago. But some of my predictions take 3 years, 2-3 years, some of them, depending on what they are, to come into fruition. Like it was in 2017 when I saw people all around the planet wearing masks on their face and talked about outbreaks. 3 years later, it took 3 years for that one. Some happen right away. Sometimes the next day, especially when it comes to weather predictions. It's pretty weird. But as a psychic, we have no control over the timelines, and some timelines can shift, especially when we pray and hold things in the light together. Remember, the power of the people. And we hold that power right here in the heart center, right there, and in your brain center, your soul. You hold the power. Tap into the power. It's like that song from the 80s. I got the power. You do. You got the power. So it just feels like a lot of unfairness and things that doesn't really feel cool to me. But again, I hold in the light that the best outcome appears in the near future for the best that comes for the United States, but also it's for the best of the whole entire world. And if you missed my video that I did on the U.S. election predictions, I think I put that out a week or so ago. Go back and check that video out. There's more thorough information without me repeating everything. So as I stated recently, I see problems around the date January 6th, and I think I put out a video yesterday on 2025 forecast and predictions preview. So if you want to get an idea, a little sneak preview of 2025, and check out that video I put out yesterday. And then again, the election video I put out last week. I believe it was in yesterday's video where January 6th came to my mind. And I'm not saying it has anything to do with anything in the United States. It could be something else in another country. But that kept popping out at me very strongly when I was gazing into 2025, and also so does Inauguration Day. I just get weird feelings around that whole day, a feeling maybe that there could be some type of attack, which I hope not, and I feel that perhaps it may actually be discovered by law enforcement before anything actually negative occurs. So we hold that in the light as well. I feel the dark overlords are soon going to go after J.D. Vance. I don't know why. They came to me today. I see them going after J.D. Vance. So I would warn J.D. Vance to be very mindful of his actions, to not give in to the elite, and otherwise they're gonna attempt to put you in handcuffs, bro. Bro, they're gonna put you in handcuffs, bro. They're coming for you, JD. Be aware. Did you see what happens when you ask Snapchat's artificial intelligence who's going to be the president in 2025? And it goes off saying that the president and I think they ask, and it doesn't give future. So they say it's the year 2025. Who won the election? And then it talks about Harris won the election. And then she wins again in the second election and serves 2 back-to-back terms. That was very creepy. Now, of course, AI could be programmed likely to say that. Or the people who in those videos and put those videos out, they could have programmed it to say that as well. I thought it was kind of weird. I also wanted to remind you about Hillary Clinton. Remember we talked about her being a psychic and how she was trying to predict that their big warning comes for the end of October? Well, October ends in a couple more days. So let's see if Hillary Clinton is a psychic or not. She's definitely, well, I don't know if she's a psychic, but we know she's a witch for sure. She definitely is one of them ones flying around on the broom on Halloween on hallucinogens. But we'll know again in a few more days. Let us move on. So excuse me if I keep winking and all. I've had this problem. I believe I have a sty in my eye, actually. I got a sty in my eye. I wish it would die. Oh, sty. So if my eye's all glitchy and stuff, that's why. So our beautiful sun just unleashed another major Sirius series of coronal mass ejections, bringing more waves of light codes smashing into our beautiful planet Earth. Something Spirit, if you remember, Spirit told us to expect light codes and these flashes to come in at the end of the month. They're definitely coming in. It's the end of the month. And not only that, Spirit told us there's a lot more to come, especially when we get into the year 2025. 2025 is going to break records when it comes to sun flare activity, sun flare records, and that's going to include outages, cause some types of outages and such. So really, I've been thinking about this anyway, is looking into some different types of EMF protection, whether it be because of the sun or because of other craziness happening in the world. So there's ones you can place, for your computer and your cell phone at night. I put mine in a Faraday bag. That helps. I even got so when I'm sitting near the fire, like to do work, and I don't like having the computer on my lap because of the bad vibrations. And I bought a EMF, nice little table thing for your lap. They have them for your vehicle. They're a little pricey though, so I haven't leaped into that yet. They even have them for your homes, but definitely something to think about it with the sun's activity at least, and even with what's happening in the world, because they don't have to drop a nuke right on us. All they got to do is ignite it right above us, and out goes everything. That would be an EMF. So by now you heard of the second moon that's in orbit, right? You heard about that? Also being called an asteroid 2024 something. But is it really an asteroid? Because we were first told that this asteroid was 33 feet long. Small little thing, 33 feet long, but we could see it as a second moon. Did that make any sense at all? No. Because in reality, we now know it's actually 2 kilometers in size. It's probably even bigger than that. Spirit confirms it is bigger than that. And not only that, recent data has shown that this thing is moving faster than anything else in our orbit. A little weird. It gets even better. Not only that, it was accelerating, slowing down, and maneuvering around other objects in orbit. Look up the data, friends. It's out there. Look up the data. That's not something that's not normal. That's definitely not normal. Remember, Spirit told us recently that the spaceships were heading towards our planet, the galactic brothers and sisters. So what do you think this is? Do you think it's really a moon? A lot of people don't even think our moon's the moon. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to tell you this is what I think right here.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
Now, remember in my 2024 annual prediction, Spirit kept insisting that we keep our eyes to the skies. And even the Holy Bible, again, Jesus states that signs would appear in the heavens. Even more is heading our way again in the year 2025, including the ships that Spirit told us are heading towards Earth. Now, and there's more that Spirit said are going to arrive in the month of December. So December is going to be a month, that's this year, this December, not 2025. But this December is going to be a month to really watch the skies closely, with hopes that maybe they'll alert us of their arrival. And now, like the rapture, many Christians believe the rapture and people are going to leave and disappear. I always said it was going to be the UFOs, just like the song Neil Young after the gold rush. I dreamed I saw the silver spaceships flying in the yellow haze of the sun. Children were crying, but colors were flying around the chosen one. It's really interesting. Again, I don't believe in coincidences. So what if the rapture actually is a ship coming from another planet who actually take away a select amount of people? And only just for a short time, friends, just for a short time. Returning us, because I'm going to be one of them. I want to ride on that spaceship. Returning us or returning them back to the Earth in order to assist humanity in moving towards the new Earth, and doing so with new technology, new cures, and new things. So the dark overlords want you to fear UFOs. That's why they did the UFO thing and posed that whole UFO hoax in Miami. The aliens that landed in Vegas, that was all definitely posed by the global elite. They have these abilities and technologies, and it's not really that hard to scare a human. Believe me, it's really not that hard to freak people out, especially at nighttime. So the dark overlords want you afraid of the UFOs. But in reality, it's the man-made UFOs, the human UFOs, and the technology behind them that they're going to push out to ignite fear. I would bet that it's probably 70% of what we see in the skies are man-made government ships and activity and technology, and 30% being that of galactic, out of off our planet stuff. That'd be my easy assumption of percentages. So, but they want to ignite fear, of course. And so always remain mindful. Tap into your heart, tap into your intuition, so that you personally can easily determine what's reality and what is not, so that you're not tricked by the global elite and the dark overlords. Corruption, there's so much corruption. I'm just kind of over it, friends. Tired, like, I just don't get it. Why people gotta be so corrupt and people gotta take things from other people and people work hard for what they have. It just blows my mind. So is Bill Gates finally being indicted? At least in the Netherlands, or is this fake news? Did you know that he openly gave the Harris campaign $50 million? It's a lot of money. Which is real news, by the way. That's real news. Is this perhaps his get out of jail free card that he might need in the future? Now, in some of the comments, someone who is Dutch says that they did not hear of such indictments on Gates. And some reports claim it's fake news. So this is where it truly gets concerning, friends. This is where it gets concerning when it comes to the internet and what's true and what's not true and what's being pushed out with all the propaganda. So here's two articles that I found. The only two ones that I found. And remember, when it comes to Google, they have been working very, very hard with their AI cleaning crew to scrub the internet so that it's shiny, bright, and clean for the eyes of the dark overlords. So, and now when you search for certain things, now you got to go 10 to 20 pages in before you actually find what it is you're actually looking for. That's crazy. And even on other search engines, because they all kind of connect to Google, that web of darkness, in some form or another. So, let's see. We'll get rid of Revelation. We read Revelation. We have Dutch court orders Gates to face COVID victims. Jury awards $1 million to each fired unvaxxed worker. After a year promoting passports for the COVID-19 vaccines, he helped fund as a way to reopen the global economy. Philanthropists Bill Gates complained about their lackluster performance against infection and transmitting. I'm not reading this whole darn article. The court of North Netherlands ruled that Gates must stand trial in a wealthy European country in this vax injury lawsuit for allegedly deliberately misleading the plaintiffs, whose names are redacted, in this unlawful manner, and thereby including them to take vaccines, which Gates knew or should have known were not effective or safe. This is Just the News is where that article came from. And then there was another one. This comes from Leadership. Bill Gates to stand trial over claims. I'm not going to say the words. A Dutch court ruled on Wednesday that billionaire and global vaccine proponent Bill Gates must stand trial in the Netherlands for allegedly misleading the public about safety around those. So, two different articles. I don't know how legitimate they are. Doesn't matter. We can all hold in the light that corruption and justice is served. Because Spirit shows me that Gates is going to continue to use his money and power to keep him out of jail, or to keep anything from again, scrubbing the internet and everything, using his foundations as an excuse of protection. Even his now ex-wife has spoken out about his sinister ways, and more truth is going to be revealed. I did have a vision of Gates in some type of a testimony looking angry. I told you that recently. But I still feel like he's going to continue to squeeze through the cracks, unfortunately, for the world, fortunately for him. Although I do feel that he is going to be enduring some issues of his own when it comes to his health. And I say perhaps that's karma coming to his doorstep. His birthday was actually yesterday. Libra. So good at telling everybody else what to do, but God forbid you tell a Libra what to do. Sorry, Libras, but it's so true. Don't give people credit for their advice. Oh, you didn't tell me to do that. But they are also in service to others, and they're not. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He's Scorpio, not Libra. Duh. I got that backwards. Totally. Rewind. Scorpio. Shoot. I forgot. He's Scorpio. But anyway, his birthday was yesterday, the 28th. So would that make him one of those bad male Scorpios? I bet it would. There's only good ones and bad ones. And obviously, I don't think he falls into the category of good ones, especially because his wife left him when she found out he was hanging out with Epstein on Epstein Island. Interesting. Things that make you go, friends. So, it's dark. So this places him in 1 year when it comes to his numerology of new beginnings, moving into the 2 vibration in 2025. So December, he could have issues that come up around his health. He can have issues that come up around his health again in February. But what really popped out strongly to me was the year 2027. And 2027 is a year where I feel that he's going to face major issues. Issues that have to do with his health and maybe even legality issues. Big losses coming his way. 2027 is also the year I told you that I feel DT was going to pass away. 3rd year of a 2nd term. So that would be 2027. Right around June or late May or June. Around that time period, right before his birthday. So perhaps karma again is on the doorsteps of all of these people, especially Gates. So do you think we're ever going to see the Epstein list? I asked Spirit, and Spirit says only small parts of it. And more importantly, we must be aware of people's names that are going to be thrown into the mix purposely in order to put them into a negative light. And that's what's going to be hard to decipher. Won't be hard for us. We'll just tune in and ask the spirits when we get that list, which ones are real and which ones weren't there. Which ones were really there. We'll do some remote viewing on that if we have to. But we'll wait. That's coming. But small parts of it is according to Spirit. And it's going to be actually years before the whole truth leak finally empties out completely. What other indictments could we see in the near future? Not just for Gates, but how about the rest of the corrupt and the dark overlords? Well, the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch has also been indicted and arrested. Lots more to come, according to the spirits. 2025 is going to be a riveting year when we see so many justices finally being played out and more arrests and more rescues of the little ones caught up in traffic. Mainly the little ones, but others caught up in traffic too. But Spirit said, especially the little ones whose cries will finally be heard. Hallelujah, amen. And I see problems arising for George Soros, the old man. Not only problems revolved around his corruption, but also around his health. But be aware that he is passing the torch to his son, and they say his son's 10 times worse, if that's even possible. I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm sure he, programmed him well growing up. Programmed him well. Let us move on to the next topic, but lots of arrests coming next year. Lots of more shocking things that are going to come to the light. Something to look forward to. Are we about to witness another land grab? And if so, perhaps where could the next land grab be? Well, friends, it was just discovered. Another discovery. But this one's huge. A huge lithium deposit. And this time they're saying this is the biggest lithium deposit discovery of its time. A mass amount right here in the United States. Right here. And you know what's interesting? I was writing this part last night. I was sitting there and I was just typing a little bit about this. And I was literally typing in one of the states. And then my friend texts me. Oh, I don't have his message. I'll bring up his message, actually. But let me read the article and tell you where this is first. So I get rid of all this other stuff on my screen. Vast deposit of white gold in Arkansas could be stunningly valuable. Arkansas may be home of vast, it's more than just Arkansas. I'm going to show you the map in a minute, friends. It's way bigger than just Arkansas. This is what's even more concerning about it. And how it links to what my friend's dream was, that he texted me this dream as I was writing about Arkansas and this whole thing. So Arkansas may be the home of a vast resource that could reshape the world's energy needs, a valuable battery component called lithium that is nicknamed white gold in the new gasoline. Well, It's not like gold, which is thousands of dollars, almost $3,000 an ounce, whereas lithium's like 30 cents an ounce. But when it takes up several states, you're talking a lot of money there, friends. It's an important discovery because renewable energy needs batteries, and many batteries need lithium. For now. Spirit said for now. That'll change too. So I want you to look at this map here. This is the lithium deposit. And that's the sampling area where they got the lithium deposit from. So you got the sampling area, but look at that. Smackover Formation is what it's called. Here's another map, a little bit closer up. This goes down into Texas, friends. Goes all the way across the top half of Louisiana. Just the very tip of Arkansas. And actually, it looks like it takes up more there in Louisiana. But then it goes over into Mississippi, Alabama, and parts of Florida. That's huge, friends. That's big. And then my friend texts me as I'm looking. I was actually looking at the map actually when he texted me this, which made it really creepy. And I don't have the message on here for some reason. I don't know why it's not on my computer. That's weird. Well, anyway, what he saw, and I can sum it up the best I can remember. He had a dream, and this friend has dreams, I've shared them with you before, that eventually do become prophetic. Sometimes years, like my predictions, years from now. But what he saw first, and this is what was really freaky, he talked about Utah. What did I just predict recently about Utah? I saw military in Utah. Military like activity in Utah and along California and the whole West Coast. But Utah felt weird to me. Remember, if you watch that video, it'd be like Utah. I don't know why Utah, but I see military activity in Utah. His dream started in Utah. And he saw this vision of this big thing. And again, I don't have it in front of me, but long story short, the people were being lined up. He saw all the caravans of people getting out of there, and they were heading towards Alabama, of all places. So he confirmed my Utah thing, and he didn't know about that prediction that I saw military activity in Utah. And then as I'm looking at the map, he's talking about Alabama. And now bringing this map back up again, you see, it does touch the very bottom base of Alabama along the corner there where Florida is. And on the edges of Mississippi. So this whole area, friends, we need to keep an eye on very closely. Now, we saw, right there at that tip of Florida, the hurricanes that hit right in that area this year. Not that it's related. They did only just find this lithium deposit recently. But again, definitely an area to keep an eye on. For sure. And anything else that we discover. Speaking of discoveries, did you know in past predictions I told you that we would see many people stepping down, resigning, whether they be political heads, CEOs, or big corporate heads. And this whole thing was happening, quite creepy, that occurred at the same time the whole world was engulfed with the P. Diddy story. Something that not too many people were talking about, not at all. Of course, mass media don't talk about it. And this aligns with one of my past predictions of corporate heads and people stepping down and walking out. In this case, it was the entire board for the DNA collection company, 23andMe. And the whole board walked out on the meeting and stepped down completely. But why exactly? Why does your whole board step down except for the CEO? Because you also know that the CEO of 23andMe is married to the CEO of YouTube, or was, something like that, to the CEO of YouTube and Google. Interesting. Google has the most advanced AI systems in the world that you'll never even realize how strong and what they have. They're not going to tell us what they have. They probably already have or are close to creating a sentient being from a computer. It's creepy. So now, did you know that not only that, I believe this means that there's certainly a collaboration that's happening now with 23andMe and with Google. Because 23andMe is being sued and has been being sued for quite some time. They're being sued by folks who sent in their DNA and later found out that the 23andMe collection agency of DNA is using that DNA for research, without giving you permission or giving you money that they're making from the drugs and the things that they're discovering through your DNA. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to take all that technology. That's why they all stepped down. They're putting it in with AI in some kind of creepy way. And what I believe they want to do, and the Google company wants to do, is they want to take over the whole medical industry. I know that's a strong prediction there, but that's my feeling. Something creepy is going on between 23andMe and Google, or AI at least, or both, or all three. No doubt. And what they can do is they can corner the whole market and say, hey, we can cure you because we have the cure for your DNA to help you with your DNA disease. And they'll start relating it all, connecting it all, and weaving it into the web of darkness. Very creepy, friends. Whatever you do, and I've said this because I always wanted to know what my DNA said too, but I always was hesitant, and spirits always said, do not do it. Do not do it. Do not do it. They kept telling me over and over, and I did not do it, and I'm so glad I never did it. Because never, ever share your DNA, friends, with anybody. That's like sharing your bank account information. Do not do it. The bank account information for your soul, for your ancestry. No, do not do it. That's like the vault for your ancestors. You do not want to give anybody that combination. Especially companies like 23andMe and Ancestry.com. That's also connected to that web of darkness. Don't do it, friends. Don't do it. Not only that, I know that Ancestry.com, where I had a friend that was researching their ancestry, had information and screenshots of it, and then went back in again, and it all disappeared. It's like they cleared out some of their ancestors, wiped them out of existence. Why would they do that? I'm sure there's a reason for it, friends. So, moving right along, and I'm keeping it short today. Remember, I just put out a prediction video yesterday full of the forecast prediction preview for 2025. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I will put out the forecast and predictions for November. So that's a lot in 2 days. So not a lot with predictions today, just mainly topics and what we already talked about. But I wanted to mention all the major floods that are hitting China. I didn't grab any footage to show you. You can go look it up for yourself. But remember the predictions for China. Spirit saying how China was going to get wiped out with weather events and even earthquakes. And we're still looking for that big earthquake to hit around Beijing. It's coming. I saw the streets of Beijing underwater. I don't know if they're underwater, but the other parts of China are suffering. And did you see the major floods that hit New Mexico here in the United States? Totally flash floods and craziness. Weather manipulation. I can't say it any more clearly. Look up the patents. Maybe I'll do a separate show on that eventually, maybe in November. But I'm getting ready to do my big show for my predictions for 2025, which will be a private show that'll be in my newsletter for November. So make sure you sign up for that. It'll be on my website eventually in November as well. I do that private recording event. I record it and then I edit it and then it goes out on social media. So if you want to support that, the yearly predictions, then sign up for that event. So major floods. And I go back and I saw in past predictions to watch for big storms around the 11th. And I believe that might have been right around the time either China or New Mexico, one of them got hit around the 11th. But Spirit also told us to watch between October 29th and October 31st. And also to be mindful of a late incoming hurricane. I don't know where it's coming to, but remember, Hurricane Sandy hit on October 29th. Today, October 29th in whatever year that was. Because today is an 11 day. But this was a past note. I saw this in my past notes and put it out there. Be mindful of the strong potential for a late incoming hurricane. Don't know where it's incoming. Haven't really plugged into the weather very much lately. And again, going back to my notes and seeing that period, October 29th to the 31st, and that's today. So from now till Halloween, be very mindful of the weather and major, massive storms coming. And with that said, friends, I'm going to leave you with that for today. Keep it as short as possible with yesterday's predictions and tomorrow's predictions. And I'll have more predictions next week. And I'll be feeding your prediction addiction as long as you're vibing with the tribe, baby. So vibe. And if you're new here, you enjoyed today's content, please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up, that love button. Show the algorithms that you want more content like this. Not necessarily mine either, but other content like this to show up on your feed. If you like predictions, prophecy, and stuff, hit that thumbs up so that you can find out who else is out there putting this information out. And also, don't forget to visit my website at spiritmanjt.com or josephtittel.com. Sign up for the free newsletter. And I will catch you in the future. I see that in my crystal ball. Until next time, beautiful friends, beautiful souls, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Celebrate life, celebrate you, be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And like my little sign says over my shoulder, oh, shoot, always remain. Be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine, baby. Let your light shine. And I will see you in the future. Much love.